This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace is the all-in-one website platform where entrepreneurs can stand out and succeed online. Whether you're just starting out or managing a growing brand, Squarespace makes it easy to create a beautiful website, engage with audiences, and sell anything from products to content to time, all in one place, all on your terms. Hey Spuds, how's it going? It's Jamie, welcome back to another video. That went very wrong. Welcome to the video. I hope you like it. Today, we are looking at trans TikToks, the positive trans ones, the trans ones that call out transphobia, all of that, the funny trans ones, the trans jokes, the positive, yeah, the nice, the wholesome, lovely, wonderful, jubbly stuff. We like to see it. Are you ready?
Where did they get those girls from? You know, they have it in their bios, a blue flag with a little pink stripe in the middle. Like, I don't even know what country that is, but wherever they're from, baddies. I need that. I need it.
Accidental ally who could also be real ally? Okay, I want to believe that this is genuinely just somebody not knowing what that flag meant. And I was like, oh yeah, all the women I come across with that flag in their bio, the trans flag, yeah, they look great. Woo! I feel like it's satire, but it is funny. I like it. It's funny. Yeah, what country is this? I don't know. Do you know? Okay, I have watched this Jinkx Monsoon clip so many times and I love it more and more every time. So we're just gonna watch it together and enjoy it and I will not interrupt. You ready?
Would JK Rowling make a good Roxy Hart in Chicago?
Who is this? Who is this who is he? JK Rowling.
He's a she.
Oh dear, that is not a feminine name in the slightest. You know, I know that oftentimes female authors use initials so that people assume it's a male writer. So I have to presume that J.K. Rowling was unsatisfied with the way that the world saw her, and then she transitioned herself into a new personality so that the world would perceive her the way she wanted to be perceived.
Gagging.
That laugh is the best thing. I feel like that laugh fuels me. That was so amazingly brutal whilst not being arseholey in any way. It's literally just the truth. It's so good. There's nothing else I can add to it. I just wanted to put it in this video because I think it's such a great way to dissect what's going on with people sometimes. And just something for some people to think about if they've not thought about this before.
There's four things that transgenderism could be, possibly.
Okay, transgenderism isn't real, so I don't know how to debate
there's four
that.
things that trans people could be, or the
Deal.
causation of trans
Deal.
people.
Did
The
you know
first
that they
thing-
have brains more like their gender?
Yeah.
Interesting that as soon as he was called out that transgenderism isn't the correct terminology, it wasn't like a, oh, well, I'm not really sure what's grammatically correct to say then because I thought that was the correct term. It's like instantly switches to something that is correct. So it's like he knew how to refer to trans people, but just didn't.
I've been through that study. It's obviously fraudulent, but I'd like
No,
to go
it's not.
into...
It's peer-reviewed.
Yeah, I know. The scientific and medical establishment, like the study that he
How
brought
many
up
doctors
earlier,
are in the American Medical Association?
I'm not sure.
How many medical professionals are in the American Medical Association?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
270,000.
Yeah,
They're
I don't
democratically
really care about
elected, and they make
credentialism.
decisions.
I
in a
don't care about
democra-
credentialism.
You don't care about people being
No,
educated.
so I'd like to
and that's
make.
a problem.
I'm trying to attack this point ontologically. I'm trying to get you to make a.
It's like talking to a brick wall. It's like, here's a peer-reviewed study that shows this. Yeah, I read it. It's so fraudulent. Why? Just is.
I don't care about the credentials of people saying things.
What?
truth claim about
Okay,
trans people.
let's do it.
The first thing, I think you could admit that some people dress up, like Leah Thomas, for example. He was on the Penn State swim team. We found his secret Instagram account and he was posting,
Oh, accidentally correctly genders a trans person. That's how naturally it comes to you. You purposefully have to try and misgender somebody.
Can we just,
Him.
okay, at least
It's a
then
guy.
pretend for the conversation so I
I'm
don't
not
have
gonna
to
do
check
that.
you every second.
I'm
gonna have to check you because that's hateful and that's wrong and it's inaccurate.
It's not-
Leah
no, it's not
Thomas
inaccurate.
Lost,
He has a penis.
Leah Thomas lost to cisgender athletes the same year that she won. There's no
So,
inherent
I don't care about
biological
that.
advantage for trans athletes competing in their sports.
Obviously there is. Men are stronger than women. I don't
There
care about
isn't. They
that.
have
It
to
would
go
still be
through care
wrong.
and standards.
Dude,
the
hold on.
NCAA sets
Just I
specific
understand.
biological
I don't care about the thing that goes against what I'm saying. I don't care about the evidence that disproves me. I don't care.
standards of care
I
so that you can't just be like, okay, I want to switch
Yeah,
genders.
I understand. And I understand you're passionate about the issue, but I'm trying to
It's
just
not
get through
passion,
this.
it's information.
Men pretending to be women
Trans women, ugh.
are
Sorry.
not women.
And there are things in place for every professional athlete that they need to pass certain tests in order to make the playing field as fair as possible. But like, elite sports and competitive sports inherently are not a level playing field, and not everybody is the same because there's variation among humans. But also, studies have shown that after being on estrogen, trans women have no biological advantage over cis women in elite sports. It is just transphobia.
The first claim that I'm making is that...
Trans women are women.
Okay, you can keep saying it, it's not true.
I feel like I have to.
So I
know it's a
understand,
lot.
I understand. The argument is, are
Which is
trans women
heartbreaking.
women? And I'm saying no, so if I call her a woman, I am forfeiting my entire point.
Because I say no when I clearly have multiple times said I don't care about people's credentials, I don't care about the evidence that disproves my point, I don't want to listen to anything that goes against my worldview, but I'm still maintaining that if I say something that is my opinion and I'm ignoring all the evidence that proves me wrong, it's still true. I get to say it. It's my opinion, so therefore it must be right. Right?
Well,
So
your
you
point isn't
understand I'm not
valid.
going to say that.
Your point isn't
I don't
valid.
understand what... Yeah, I'm going to prove why it's valid. So men who pretend to be women, either it's a sexual fetish, which I think that you can
It's
agree
not a sexual
at least...
fetish. It's medically proven not to be.
I think that you can agree that sometimes it can happen. Transvestitism.
I think some men dress up as women. I think
Are
transgender
they
women
se-
are women.
I'm going to prove why I'm right now, and then says things that really don't prove a point at all. It's more offensive, in my opinion, that these people sit there and are so strong in their convictions, but then so anti looking into anything that might rock that worldview a little bit and shake things up for them and make them see things a bit differently. They will not look into the science. They will not look at the evidence. They will not look at the research papers that prove them wrong. They will just specifically go and find like philosophical thought pieces and transphobic news articles and one-off examples of an arsehole and be like, this is it. This is what has formed my view and I am correct and I'm going to prove it to you. And it's like, but you haven't. You haven't proved anything. All you've proved is that you are making a judgment about a community you know nothing about and you are refusing to learn more about. Good for you. Live in that ignorant bubble, but don't bring it out into the world where you can then impact other people's lives with that shit. That's not fair. Now that we have looked at some positive trans things, I do have some sock-shattering news for you all. My very real, completely legitimate and not at all fabricated sock matchmaking agency is unfortunately hanging up its boots. Now, before you all start unraveling with sadness, there is a silver lining. We're closing up because we have successfully rehomed every single odd sock. My mission complete. My heart full. My drawer suspiciously empty. It all started as a place where you could browse eligible single socks in search of their soulmates. And thanks to the creation of a marvelous website on Squarespace, every odd little guy was chosen, cherished, and rehomed. This business really darned meant a lot to me, and it was so easy to bring it to life using Squarespace. The all-in-one website platform for any idea. Yes, even mine. Big thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. Squarespace's fantastic cutting-edge design tools won't leave you without a footing. Anyone can weave together a unique website that matches your brand, business, or wildest idea. Their Blueprint AI, Squarespace's AI-enhanced website builder, can help you spin up a fully customized site seamlessly. And once you've done that bit, all the elements that you might want on your website, text, images, buttons, pages can be neatly quilted together using Squarespace's pre-built layouts. Then you can snip, tuck, and tailor them to your heart's content with simple drag and drop magic. And when you're running a bustling odd sock matchmaking agency, speed is of the utmost necessity. I use Squarespace's email marketing tools to keep everyone in the loop on fresh arrivals, with automation saving time and integrations that made things seamless. And you can schedule those emails to reach your audience at the perfect time. Charbonne's actual Squarespace website was unbelievably fun to make, and it's not going anywhere. Squarespace gave us the freedom to get creative, link our socials, and show off our podcast, 1-800-DRAMA. If you want to get your own site up and running, head to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to put your best foot forward, go to squarespace.com/Jammidodger to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. The link is in the description. Go check it out. And thank you so much for listening. Let's get back to the trans TikToks. Oh yeah. Confessing to my husband I'm a lesbian. I'm afraid I have bad news. Before you say anything, I have to confess I'm actually a transgender woman. Well, in that case, I have good news. Oh my god. Well, that worked out for the best, didn't it? And it had Pink Pony Club on it as the song. Unfortunately, I can't play it. Wonderful. I'm so happy for you. I think it's such a fear. Both people coming out in terms of their sexual orientation, but also people coming out as trans whilst in a relationship, worrying that the relationship can't continue because you're maybe just then not interested in each other in the way that you would want to be to continue a romantic relationship. This time, it worked out very well. I'm happy for them.
All right, everyone, That's new. That's new.
Aw, I love that. Somebody getting all gender euphoric about the bounce. I think that is such a sweet video, and it's, I think, moments like that we don't see enough of for trans people, like just getting attention in any kind of way of like, this is what it means to people. This is how important it is. This is how it increases well-being. This is how it makes people feel better. It might seem trivial to you. It might seem silly, but it's so important. It's about people feeling comfortable in their own skin. And I think that's, when it comes to gender dysphoria and being trans, that is something that cis people cannot understand and should not try to understand or put reason to, or be like, well, because I don't get it, it doesn't make sense and therefore I don't believe it. Just accept that there are people out there with gender dysphoria, and transitioning greatly improves lives, and having experiences of gender euphoria is magical when it's mixed in amongst all of this dysphoria that you've been dealing with for years. That was beautiful. Show this to people who say cis women lost 900 medals to trans women. Behold, actual research. Oh, and in LGBTQ plus TikToks that I did recently, we watched another video about this because JK Rowling had tweeted about it and somebody broke it down. So I'm interested to see it broken down by somebody else, see if there's new things being said.
900 medals. That is a go-to statistic. It was even cited on the floor of the Senate during their debate over a trans sports ban and featured prominently in JK Rowling's latest tome. But we got curious about that number, so we looked at that report, and it turns out first, it wasn't produced by the UN. It was submitted to it by a special rapporteur who herself said its findings do not necessarily represent those of the UN. And if you go online to the footnote that it cites and click on it, you get sent to this website, She Won, where anyone could submit an instance of a cis woman losing to a trans woman anywhere in the world.
Oh, I didn't know anybody could contribute towards this magic number they found. Okay.
In any competition, big or small. The author of that report
Wait, so could this literally be like 7-year-olds where there's a trans girl in the class and they're like, well, Daisy won 3 medals last year. I mean, she also lost out on 30, but it's those 3 that matter, and we're going to submit it to this to go to the UN when talking about inclusion in professional level sports, which is also bollocks anyway. But it's even more bollocks when you realize that not only are trans women missing out even more on opportunities that they didn't really have in the first place, and even more on resources that they didn't really have in the first place in terms of professional and elite sports, but also just kids. Kids are not allowed to play sport with their friends, and that's really sad.
Assisted to us, I did not rely only on this source, but I will say the numbers she cites do match what was on the site back then, and they included competitions all the way back to 2001 and down to the level of a fun run into picket cancers.
Wait, so a website that people submit to themselves, and it can be any kind of competition, any kind of age range, anything, where they feel that a trans person has won over a cis person, right? That's what this sounds like. Since 2001, in 24 years, there have been 894. And we don't even know if that's legitimate. And he's just said that one of those is a fun run.
And an Irish dance competition, as well as activities where gender confers no advantage, like poker. Also,
this is how much of a joke transphobes are, just FYI. When you see these absolutely ridiculous things, this perfectly sums up why transphobes think the way they think, because these are the bubbles that they get themselves stuck into. They're not looking into that number. They're not thinking beyond it. They're not going like, well, there's fun runs and then there's like kids just playing sport with their friends. And there's literally things like poker. What? And what this has led to, this snowball, is in the US Senate, this 900 medals number being cited to take away trans women's access to sport. Like, we can laugh, but really we should be crying, because this is such a joke. This is how deep transphobia has gone.
over 100 entries on the list are in the field of disc golf.
Over 100.
If you're unfamiliar, it involves frisbees being thrown into this thing, some kind of Guantanamo for birds. And as if that weren't enough, the way they got to that 900 number has to do with how they counted the wins. Because on the list, one trans woman finishing first counts as 3 denied medals. The logic being...
Oh my god, so you instantly have to, like, cut that by a third? Or at least the ones where it's instances of a trans woman winning something. Oh my god.
The second place finisher should have come first, the third place finisher should have come second, and the fourth place finisher should have come third. And look, some will argue it doesn't matter how minor the competition. The women on that list were all unfairly deprived of their rightful place. But even some of those women don't feel that way. This one, a disc golfer, has publicly stated she's happy to see trans people in disc golf. And an amateur cyclist named Kristen Chalmers is actually on the list twice, because for some reason, a single race she lost is on there under 2 different spellings of her name.
Wow. The first video I saw on this was really well done and very in-depth and went very, very deep into the chain of things that happened. And this one really broke down that number specifically and exactly where it had come from. And that is so useful. Wonderful. Thank you for making this. Thank you for doing this. So there's literally people who are named as like cis women who lost out, who've actually been like, I'm happy for trans women to be part of this sport. Shut up. There's a cis woman who appears twice because her name was spelled differently. Let's say a third of those entries were trans women winning the medal. So those actually counted for 3 entries when they should have counted for 1. So that's 300 down to 1. So we're already on like 600 entries. Over 100 of them were for frisbee golf, it's called in the UK. I'm not going to discount them because I don't know how many are for things like poker, which obviously, like, why is it on there? But you got these 600 instances, 6 to 900. What? It doesn't fucking matter, because that's 24 years worth of anybody being able to submit any competition where they feel a trans woman has won over a cis woman. Anything. And they could only come up with 900, even when including things where there would literally be no discussion over a gender advantage ever anyway. Even when discussing things like poker, they could only come up with 900. And when you look at it in that way, 24 years in all of the competitions in the world, in all of the age ranges and abilities that could be taking part in these competitions, people have only submitted 900 instances, which could be as few as 300 instances of trans women winning or medaling in a competition that somebody feels like a cis woman should have. 24 years. It's nothing. Not only is it bullshit, but it's literally nothing. Even if it were really accurate and that were genuine 900 instances of a trans woman being in a sport that is often segregated by gender, that would still be nothing in 24 years. Because I'm sat here going, you're telling me that in 24 years, only 900 trans women have won a competition in some kind of area of any level. Damn.
I am a cisgender woman who shaves my head. You are a man. Manly man. I'm a trans man who shaves my head. What a gorgeous, beautiful, womanly woman you are. You're always gonna be a gorgeous, beautiful, womanly woman. I'm a cis guy, but I like painting my nails and wearing skirts. What are you, a girl? Dude, you're basically a girl. You're such a cis. Hey, I'm a transgender woman. I wear skirts and paint my nails. Manly man. I can see your man muscles and your man face. Man, hairline, man.
Literally this is the case. There's people on one hand arguing, going like, oh, trans people are the ones upholding oppressive gender stereotypes. And then when a trans person is adhering to the gender stereotypes of their gender, so me as a trans man adhering to like more masculine stereotypes, they still would view me as a woman, but then also simultaneously blame me for upholding gender stereotypes and say that I transitioned because I was atypical for being a woman. But then if they met a trans man who presented femininely, which there are many of, and they are still very much men and still very much trans, they would say, oh, well, you're clearly not a man because you present femininely. What? Make it make sense. They just say whatever fits their argument in that specific context, even if it contradicts the argument they literally said yesterday in a slightly different context.
Does JK Rowling know she wrote Harry Potter? Like, no, because stay with me now. Not only are there multiple instances of actual boys going in the girls' bathroom for the greater good, they literally go into the girls' bathroom to save one of the girls in there. There's also the fact that Quidditch is a co-ed sport. And on top of that, if you read...
I never realised that. And yeah, they all go make polyjuice potion in the girls' bathroom, don't they? And the entrance to the Chamber of Secrets is in there.
The books, the boys and girls share the same locker room.
Wow.
I'm so serious. And there are multiple instances of male wizards cross-dressing. Like, there's one at the Quidditch World Cup who's wearing like a woman's nightgown, and someone even tells him it's a woman's nightgown, a woman's clothing, and he goes, okay, but he literally says, I like a healthy breeze around my privates. What are we talking about? And there's Mundungus Fletcher dressing as a witch in the Hog's Head. Now I'm reading about Crabbe and Goyle polyjuicing into little girls. Can you tell I just woke up?
I knew about some of that, but I hadn't connected the dots. I didn't know about all of it. But it's like when you hear it, I know there are like a lot of flaws with Harry Potter as well, and a lot of themes in there and elements in there that are not great. Yeah, not great. However, there's a reason why at the time LGBTQ plus people resonated so strongly with the stories and the messages and the characters in Harry Potter, and why it's come as such a shock that JK Rowling is so obscenely transphobic. Like, obscenely. How do you go from writing something with some of the themes that Harry Potter has to being that bigoted? I can only imagine that she fell down the wrong rabbit hole on Twitter and got very, very lost. And now the door is padlocked shut behind her. So trans man, biological female, used the women's locker room. A biological female. I thought you wanted females in the women's bathrooms. I find it uncomfortable, like they're referring to a trans man as a biological female. It's not terminology that a lot of trans people would use about themselves, but some would. So I'm assuming this is maybe from a trans person that is comfortable with that language, but I personally am not. But this is not my video.
I personally witnessed being a person who appeared to be a man, openly dressing in the women's locker room. It was later communicated by the rec center that this was a biological female who is in the process of transitioning.
This alleged event happened at the Newport Recreation and Aquatic Center and sparked outrage from some community members.
That is literally what they want. I'm so confused. What do they want? No, do you know what they want? They just don't want to see a trans person ever. They just don't want trans people publicly using anything. But it is so confusing because this is what transphobes want. And then when they get it, they're so offended. It's like the trans guy who's a wrestler and they forced him to wrestle on the girls' team because he's trans. And then they all complained and were outraged when he won. This was a trans guy on testosterone.
And they were like, oh my God, such an unfair advantage, this man.
And it's like, but you wanted him there. He doesn't want to be there. You forced him to be there. Democrat plays Trump or trans game.
I want to play a game. It's called Trump or Trans. You ready? Okay. So I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to tell me whether or not it is Trump or trans people that are responsible. You understand?
Got it.
Okay, very good. The first one, gutted medical research.
Trump.
Kidnapping Americans and sending them to foreign countries, a.k.a. deporting them.
Trump.
Driving us into a recession.
Trump.
Increasing the cost of everything.
Trump.
Waging an idiotic tariff war.
Trump.
Harming farmers.
Trump.
Ignoring the Constitution.
Trump.
Proposing to take away Social Security.
Trump.
Cutting health care.
Trump.
Firing government workers who keep our country safe.
Trump.
Encouraging an environment of hate and divisiveness.
Trump.
Thank you so much.
So what exactly are trans people doing wrong? What are they destroying? Why is everybody listening to Trump? At Jade, formerly of Little Mix, giving a big FU to JK.
Such a law. Performative violation. Homophobes. Transphobes. JK Rowling.
I agree, as it should be. Oh, so this was Bonnie Wright, who played Ginny Weasley in the Harry Potter series, being asked about JK Rowling.
Yeah, I mean, I have shared already my stance on that, and I really don't want to take up too much of the room with that energy, because I believe everyone has the right to be who they are and who they say they are, and so that's where
I believe she has already spoken out and support the trans community, but there it is again. I get the frustration of probably being asked this a lot, so I get why people would want to like state what their stance is on it and then not just have things devolve into a session where they're asked a lot of questions about JK Rowling specifically, because that's probably not nice. And it's also, if she's there in another capacity, that's not the best use of her time. I think that is a plenty good enough answer, and also appreciating the fact that she's like, I don't want to give energy to this. Basically, like, I support trans people and I don't want to give time and energy to talking about people who don't, essentially, which is fine. And I think sometimes a lot of people, especially a lot of cis people who are allies but maybe feel like they're not super equipped to speak up for the trans community in a super big level of depth or anything, why they might want to avoid it. I'm not saying that's what's going on here, but it sometimes can. And this is in stark contrast to Tom Felton, who we will not rewatch, but that did the rounds, so I'm sure a lot of you are aware of what he said. Obsessed with these anthropology workers showing trans pride with different clothes during the London Trans Pride March. I love that. Oh, and they did it in the right order. Oh my god, they're actually doing the full trans flag. They're not just doing the colours. That's beautiful. I love it. I've never been to an anthropology. I don't even know what they sell. I'm assuming clothes. And also, London Trans Pride this year was a record-breaking turnout. 100,000 trans people and allies showed up in London to march for trans rights, and that is up from 60,000 last year. This is huge. There's massive, like 100,000 people will show up for a trans pride march, and when the TERFs want to meet up, you get 5 of them outside of a Primark. This is fantastic. Even outside the Supreme Court, there was like 3 of them. 7 at most. What a nice one to end on. I feel like that was a really good bunch of trans TikToks. I am happy with that selection. I hope you enjoyed this video. Think about giving it a thumbs up and subscribing if you did, but no pressure. Also, don't forget to go check out Squarespace. And please let me know if you can think of any jobs that you'd like to see me do and set up a website for. I don't know. It could be literally anything. You'll also see some names going up the screen right now, and those are my Patreons. Thank you so much for supporting me over there. It's really, really appreciated, and I love it. There's no pressure to do it, but I also want to do a big shout out to my VIP, my very important potato Patreons. Albar, Chloe, Dellen Irving, Eldon K, Gosco, Iona Balash, Jesse Entwistle, Marv Mallow, Max Makes Mods, Night Soul, Nesta, Rachel Raptor, Randy, Riley Ray, River Champagne, Sally Drew, Sarah Hobbs, Sienna Lamb, Slayer, Sugar Joe, TNS Mum, The Paisley Prince, The Third Hat Man, and Spring Metal Dragon. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much. And yeah, as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Much love. Bye.